drill. Deep left field. Gone!
The Queen City of Ohio, the home of the Redlegs. Cincinnati is the site of the first stop in this White Sox road trip, first week of May. And downtown Cincinnati is the overlook point. The Sox and the Reds, we thank you for joining us to watch Dylan Cease come back after a great start last time out. A complete game shutout, his first career shutout anywhere. And he'll face former Colorado Rocky Jeff Hoffman, who's pitched well at Great American Ballpark so far this year. We thank you for joining us. Two play-by-play announcers, just what you've always wanted. Jason Benetti, Len Casper along with you. Very excited to be in the booth with you. It's been a long time that we've known each other and we get to do this together. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a few months, and here it is, like it or not, over the next 5 days.
Why don't we set them up for this series as only you and I can, because only you and I are here?
Well, let's do it. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. Luis Robert, 12 to 16 weeks with no baseball activities. He has a grade 3 strain of his right hip flexor that is a complete tear, so it's possible he might be done for the season.
Yeah, possible he could come back. We'll see what the offense does without him. The pitching probables are interesting. Dylan Cease, as said, was great last time out. He'll face Hoffman, and then Dallas Keuchel versus Sonny Gray. Couple of headliners tomorrow.
Yermin Mercedes is the American League Rookie of the Month for April. Thought he might be the Player of the Month. It was Byron Buxton of the Twins. Going into tonight, Yermin second in the majors behind Mike Trout in batting average.
You got to go faster here. You're the play-by-play. You should know better. Home away from home, Sox are 12 and 6 at Great American Ballpark all time.
And this Reds offense has been red hot. They lead the majors in runs, homers, slugging. And right now, not getting a lot from Eugenio Suarez, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's surprising. He usually is a big bat for them. 49 home runs a couple of years ago. Nick Castellanos, Sox fans know him from his Tiger days. 9 home runs, 8 at home. He has been a tremendous offensive power so far for Cincinnati. That's going to be an interesting series.
It should be, and normally I would throw it to break here, but I don't think I'm the play-by-play guy at this point.
Wait, look, we're going to have to untangle that. We're going to toss and tag and do all that other stuff. Two play-by-play announcers like old-time radio. Dylan Cease tonight on the mound. He will throw next. We tell you about them after these.
PointsBet understands that in sport.
He obviously has cast a gray sky over the Sox for the moment, but there's a lot of young talent still in the offense. Has some work to do, certainly power-wise, but Dylan Cease, if he does what he did last time, continually throughout the year, that would be a big boon for the White Sox, who already have the AL's best starting rotation in the month of April. But the way Dylan threw the other day, Len, that was a totally different guy.
It really was. Best start of his career. 66 of his 91 pitches found the strike zone. It did not go well for him in Cincinnati last year. He walked 7. So if he can pound the strike zone, I thought both the slider and the curveball were excellent. Both breaking balls. He had it all working. He is 6-0 lifetime against the Tigers, but it has been a big-time struggle against the rest of the league. So I guess picture the Reds wearing Tiger uniforms tonight in this ball game.
Yeah, all it is visualization. But if the breaking stuff looks like that, and you saw him in the highlights there, 9 strikeouts and a lot of them with the breaking stuff, like that curveball, Dylan Cease his first career shutout at any level, and if he can duplicate something like that against a dangerous offense, that is good news for the White Sox. Back on the road to Cincinnati and Kansas City. Grab a bite, dive in, and put a smile on your face. White Sox baseball is coming up next.
I don't even know why I'm saying it to you, but it's so close to my heart. I want to do an inning with Len Casper. I want me and Len to be in the same booth. He helped me so much get this job. I want to do an inning with Len. That's never going to happen, but I want to make it happen.
Oh, look at young Jason Benetti prophesized.
Yeah, now I guess I have to tell the truth. I did tell the White Sox to hire you. I said if Buck, Shamby, Anderson, Davis, and a couple other people weren't available, that you'd be a really good guy to at least consider.
That sounded utterly honest.
I'm totally lying.
And I don't. So there were more guys actually who you listed, and like a couple of like what? 18-year-olds or something too on your list?
No, you were the one for this job all along,
Oh,
Benetti.
buddy.
You get one inning, and then we're going to see how it goes.
One inning. Well, look, Boog and I did this during KBO season, and Boog kept stepping on my play-by-play innings. We were switching every 2 innings, and he kept jumping in because he can't help himself. When you have 2 play-by-play announcers in the booth, we just can't help ourselves.
I will try my best.
Well, I don't
do that.
I don't like him anymore because of that, so I hope you like our friendship. The forecast is bleak, according to our weather team, which is not terribly upbeat, but we hope to have you watching 9 innings of baseball today.
Is that about our broadcast or the weather?
You know, sometimes they write it about the weather, and then other times they're very direct about our quality of talking skill. Time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineups. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Anderson, Madrigal, Moncada, Abreu, Eaton in the 5 spot today, and then Vaughn, Grandal, Garcia, and Cease. You're starting 9. Dylan Cease, first at bat ever.
This is the right-hander Jeff Hoffman. He's off to a pretty good start. Walks have been an issue at times, and he's only gone 6 innings once so far in his first 5 outings with the Reds. And here's what he throws. 55% of the time you'll see fastball, and then the secondary pitches, slider, curve, and change, he'll throw about an equal amount of the time. Defense presented by UI Health. We'll go left to right in the outfield. Winker, Naquin, and Castellanos. Third to first, Moustakas. Suarez back at a position he played a while ago. Jonathan India is an interesting rookie. Joey Votto has a Gold Glove from about a decade ago. Barnhart owns 2.
This series will be very interesting. We'll see how game the Sox are to the challenge of dealing with the Cincinnati offenses. We are off and running. Great American Ballpark, the site, and we thank you so much for joining us. Len Casper, Jason Benetti in the first inning is brought to you by Toyota. Tim Anderson, second pitch, hunting on a ground ball to India. And 1 gone.
The White Sox basically have led the majors in ground ball rate, and they've been right at the bottom in fly ball rate. It has not stopped them from scoring runs, but this is one of those ballparks in which you would like to hit the ball in the air on occasion.
You've seen a lot of games here. You almost have to hit home runs to beat Cincinnati when they're playing like they play those certain nights, like they put up the dozen plus against the Cubs the other day. You almost need to do it.
Yep, and it really flies to right center in particular. It flies everywhere here, but right center it'll go.
It's Nick Madrigal, who's in the 2 spot today. Tony La Russa has been trying to find the optimal lineup, and it certainly doesn't help when you lose a guy like Luis Robert, who had really been starting to cook offensively. And you said it in the crossover during the pregame show, this would be a great time to have Adam Engel in this lineup, but that's still at least 3 weeks away, as Madrigal checked it up, and it's 1-2.
I remember when Adam got hurt, he had back-to-back huge offensive performances in the middle of spring training, and then tweaked the leg, and we thought maybe 2 to 4 weeks, but then he had a setback, went back to square one, and 2 to 4 weeks is going to end up probably being 2.5 months.
Well, they had him played perfectly. Nicky 2 strikes a bid to center, and Tyler Naquin a late add as 2 are down. How about Jeff Hoffman with the oddest splits for a pitcher you're ever going to see in Cincinnati colors?
Yeah, and here's a guy who was used to pitching at Coors Field for his home games, so that's why he is smiling right now.
He just took the picture moments ago.
Even though this is an offensive park, I think most pitchers don't mind getting traded away from Colorado.
He's been traded a couple times. He was a first-round pick of the Blue Jays back in 2014 out of East Carolina. He was completely undrafted out of Shaker High School in the Albany area. And then he ends up being a first-round pick who had Tommy John surgery right around draft time. But the Blue Jays took him at 9, even though he was going to be a top 3 pick in that draft. And he eventually ends up at Colorado in a deal not long after the draft. And Now in Cincinnati, as he throws a very nice curveball there to Moncada, who the Sox really need to keep hitting like he's been hitting.
Been in a good stretch, getting on base a lot. 429 OBP over a 15-game on base streak.
I feel like I'm back in my minor league days. We used to do 2 play-by-play announcers. We never had analysts really in the minors. It was just 2 guys talking about baseball.
Yeah, it's fun, you know, and it's different, and that's okay, especially during a long 162 game schedule. Mix it up a little bit.
Do you miss DJ? You ran into the radio booth like 40 minutes ago.
Do you miss Stoney?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then
I've been seeing him tweet. He's tweeting. He's watching the ball game. So hi, Stoney. 3-2 for Moncada. It's a changeup, and it's popped up left-hand side. This will drift into row number 1. They're going to check the netting and make sure it's reinforced. Everything's okay net-wise.
So just to underscore the Hoffman home road splits. At Coors Field with the Rockies, 40 appearances, 22 starts. His ERA was 7.58. That's not good, Jason.
That's not ideal. That will end up with an ERA plus some years in the 50s. As Moncada tags this ball to center field. Naquin is back at the track, and he squares to make the catch in an odd angle, and now he can smile about it, but it was touch and go. Have made the trip to Cincinnati, as typically happens in interleague play. And let's give you the Insure on the Spot starting lineup for Cincinnati. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Batting average is high at the top of the card, so is hard hit rate, especially for Winker and Castellanos. Joey Votto is a stalwart there. Moustakas and Suarez. Naquin a late ad. Barnhart, the young man, India, and Hoffman can swing it a little bit.
Dylan Cease gets the start for the Sox tonight. This will be assignment number 6. Got that ERA under 3 with the complete game 3 hitter against Detroit. And we often look at his strike percentage. And you see from start to start, that's 72.5 on April 28th. The best of his career. First pitch strike percentage was 71%. That's very good.
You know, we're going to learn a lot, I think, about how Cincinnati wants to attack him and which Dylan Cease they're going to expect tonight based on these first couple of batters and how aggressive they are and what Dylan goes with. And there is a first pitch fastball that Winker swung at and popped foul.
Yeah, this Reds lineup right now feeling pretty good about itself collectively. 13-12 10-inning win on Sunday. They've won back-to-back series, beat the Dodgers in LA, and then took 2 of 3 against the Cubs at home. And they're drawing really well in Cincinnati, Jason. They're up to 40% capacity. They had 17,000 in the ballpark on Saturday.
So first, that is foul. Abreu knocked it down anyway. 2 strikes on Winker.
Now the Sox defensively, presented by UI Help. Vaughn Garcia gets a start in center. Eaton and right. Moncada third. Anderson at short. Nick Madrigal and Jose Abreu on the right side. Yasmani Grandal is the catcher. Dylan Cease on the mound.
You know, we saw the look at Johnny Bench there, and one of the things I miss about not traveling to these ballparks is just getting to see the history flecked throughout concourses of ballparks in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and the Reds have a really cool Hall of Fame museum. They've been around longer than any franchise in the sport.
It's a high fastball, 2-2 from Cease. There you see the championships, 1990 most recently. The big red machine in the middle there. Some really dangerous teams. India, by the way, we're talking about Jonathan India. He's the first guy to make his debut in a start at second base since Pete Rose. back in the 60s.
1963, maybe?
Mm-hmm. All right, so a full count from Cease to Winker, who's just crushed the ball this year. He's had a great start to the season for Cincinnati. And a fastball gets rid of him. So Cease runs a long count but strikes out Winker.
You like the process here, right? You know, he walked 7 in 3 innings last year in his start against the Reds. And whether he gives up a home run, a single, a ground out to second, or this result, a strikeout, you just like the fact that he put one right in the zone and made him swing at it.
You know, one thing we've heard a lot about this year with Ethan Katz, dating all the way back to spring training, is how competitive bullpen sessions are and how much he's trying to target focus of the pitchers. And I know a lot of people said it, but I think it bears fruit. There's a good slider to start Castellanos. And you see Nick Castellanos in Major League Baseball, the 9 home runs, tied for first, 11 multi-hit games. You know, you got a guy in Ethan Katz who's a thoughtful pitching coach and very focused with bullpens. There's a second slider. And then you get Dylan Cease, who, you know, reputedly is a big yoga guy. He's a very analytical guy. He's a soft-spoken guy. And it seems like their personalities would mesh. And maybe we're starting to see that with the start last time against the Tigers.
Yeah, I think Cease was kind of the big project going into spring training for Katz, who thought they had him. And they may have. That's Mike Malinsky calling balls and strikes tonight.
What do you got here?
That's really a 50-50. I think half of the umpires call it a strike, half don't.
So now Castellanos leaning for the slider. 1 and 2 from Cease.
Talk so much about computerized strike zones, and that's what I'm really interested in, right? Are those 50-50 calls. Theoretically, there should be none of those with a computerized zone. It's a strike or it isn't. But that's where the human element comes in. It's about framing, the angle the umpire had, the command of the pitcher that night.
The eye level, where you're set up, are you in the slot, whatever it might be. And the 50-50 argumentation comes from whether or not you agree with where the robotic strike zone is placed, I would think, if they go ahead and do that at some point down the line.
We might have as many arguments about the strike zone with a computer as we do with a person.
Start yelling Control Alt Delete. I do wonder where the frustration would go, right? Like if there's no umpire.
Well, I think there'll be an umpire, but what I think is going to happen is they're going to get the call, and then they'll give you the strike or ball call.
That's what they did in the Atlantic League, right?
They might have to wear it. Well, they're going to say, Mike. He's going to say, I'm just the messenger.
Talk to my AirPods. Swing and a miss. Dylan was bent on getting him on that slider, and he finally did. That was probably the best slider of the sequence.
Yeah, it was a good battle by Castellanos. I'm not sure how many pitches in that sequence were actually in the strike zone, but it's a strike to ball slider that he's got cooking here early on.
So here's Joey Votto. And I encourage everybody, there's a great story by C. Trent Rosecrans of The Athletic, great beat writer for the Reds, about the quirks of Joey Votto and the intrigue of Joey Votto. And there's too much to list. But what you were just talking about with the robotic strike zone, Joey Votto is as thoughtful, some would say eccentric, as anybody in baseball. He, according to one of his teammates in the piece, and there's a long list of stuff, he has hot and cold zones for every umpire behind the plate. He was like the first guy to do that.
Doesn't surprise me a bit.
You spent time with him in your time in the NL Central?
A little bit, yeah, and you can just see that computer working. He right now, look, he'll at some point he'll just stare straight up. You can tell he's thinking about, okay, 1-1, what's Cease going to do here? And he'll outthink himself on occasion. He'll take a fastball right down the middle with 2 strikes sometimes.
To first. Jose's got it, and we promise you tonight there will be a base runner.
Hey, oh, there's your inning. Are we good to go for another one?
Yeah, I'd like to do a second one before I toss it to you.
There's a museum.
Len said it was there. There it is. It is very hard to tell what the weather's like based on those two people.
Kind of get like they're in different climates.
Yeah.
They're sitting right next to each other.
There's a cold front pushing through the middle of the shot as Abreu fouls back strike one. I mean, you got the winter hat and you have shorts.
Yeah, you got it all working right there in one place. If I had to pick, I tend to go with the guy on the left.
You'd rather be warmer.
I would rather be a little too warm than too cold.
Really? See, not in Cincinnati. I wouldn't dress for warm in Cincinnati.
It's May 4th. Come on.
You've been there in the middle of May when it's 152. You know it. Second inning brought to you by Menards. He's Len Casper. I'm Jason Benetti. We're glad to have you along. And there is Jose Abreu. And, you know, you feel like the Sox went through 27 games with Luis Robert, mostly without Eloy Jimenez completely. And if Jose Abreu becomes what he was last year, you feel like you've gained quite a bit to what the offense has provided so far.
Yeah, I think Abreu and Grandal are the two guys you think about in terms of who hasn't really gotten going yet. I think Moncada might have been on that list up until maybe 10 days ago or so. Jose was asked today on a Zoom call with the media whether there would be a team meeting regarding the Robert injury.
Check. No.
And he said, if we feel we need to have one, we will, but I don't feel like we're at that point. I tend to think those things are typically overrated, but you know, teammates talk, right? And I don't know if you have to have a formal clubhouse meeting to say, we just lost another really good player. We've got to be even better.
Jose demolishes this ball. Left field and bring him home. 1-0 Sox. That's what we're talking about.
There's your team meeting. It'll be in the dugout after this long home run. That was a no-doubter. A Ford home run replay. On his hands a little bit, but that doesn't bother him one bit.
That's a good sign too. We have seen teams pitch him in a lot this year and get inside to jam him off the plate. And Jose, we'll tell you about it as the series goes on, but Jose has just not been swinging at as many strikes as he did last year, and that one was a borderline strike that he crushed to give the Sox a 1-0 lead. And you know, you've met him, you know him, you've watched him for years. Knowing him as Sox fans do, this is a guy that will take it upon himself to replace, and smack you on the back as hard as anybody too, to replace missing offense.
Yeah. He's got a big hot streak coming, and this wouldn't be a bad time for it.
Who was it? Was that Frank Menachino
It was his
he was
hitting
beating
coach.
up?
Yeah.
Frank's like, what are you doing to me?
All is fair after you hit a home run.
Strike three, one gone. Time for the big story presented by Mattress Firm, and we like to bring you good news in the big story as much as we can. This is not good news. As you said in the open, Len, the grade 3 strain is a complete tear. No baseball activities, 12 to 16 weeks. Surgery is a possibility, but not a guarantee for Luis Robert. So there is the chance that he could be back very late in the season.
And the most interesting part of what Rick Hahn had to say yesterday is it sounds like regardless of whether he has surgery or just rehabs the injury, the time frame seems to be the same.
Here's a guy who we've seen get more playing time routinely over the past week, Andrew Vaughn, and there is a sharp breaking ball from Hoffman, who only throws a curveball about 15% of the time, but he snapped off a couple dandies so far tonight.
He's working fast too, not taking much time between pitches.
I like that our dot is so intrepid for the strike zone that it goes all the way up there to show you that it was 95 in the sky.
The intrepid dot. Well played.
It's a good band name. Yeah. Strike three. Vaughn goes down on a slider. 2021 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Visit rate.com to learn how Guaranteed Rate helps turn people's belief in a new home into action. If you believe, you will. And to get priority ticket access this season, secure a ticket package by visiting whitesox.com today. So 2 down for Yasmani, playing at a ballpark he knows very well with his time with Milwaukee Brewers.
Former first rounder of the Reds. Traded to San Diego prior to 2012 before he got to the major leagues.
So for Yasmani Grandal, you see the slugging percentage and expected slugging percentage. He's actually done more in terms of creating good contact this year than he did last year, especially off of fastballs, but he's not had the same fortune. And so that's not to say you get paid off expected slugging percentage, but it's to suggest that it's going to get better.
Yeah, a lot of the numbers we'll probably talk about this week are those types of things with the analytics. The idea of, has this guy been maybe a little fortunate, a little unlucky in certain cases? Batting average on balls in play will come into focus. Still not afraid to work the count, though. He is one guy who will not try to, quote, hit his way out of a slump. He's not afraid to take his walks. And that gives him value. There you go.
There's ball 4. He's on again. It's a 2-out walk to bring up Leori Garcia.
Look, Jason, he's hitting 127, but that's probably going to get his OBP up around 340. Right? So you cannot say with a straight face that Grandal's had a good first month of the season. But if you are reaching base 34% of the time, that is giving your team value by creating RBI chances for the guys behind you.
What's interesting about that picture that Andrew Blaustein has on the screen right now is that both of those guys, Votto and Yasmani Grandal, are guys who have heard the same criticism, that they walk too much from certain circles. Now, I know you and I don't agree with that line of logic, but they both have heard that.
With that walk, Grandal now with 18 walks, he has struck out 14 times, which is a great ratio.
Ball and a strike on Garcia, who you'd figure with angle out is going to see the balance of the playing time in center field.
Just a quick follow-up on Grandal. He followed a 109 walk season 2019 into a huge 4-year contract with the White Sox. So they were okay with those walks
and wanted him because of that skill. Always a talk show at first base when Joey Votto is manning it. Let's just have a full list of questions he's asked people over there. 1-2. Garcia pokes it to left center field. 2 on, 2 out, and now National League Baseball. Here's Dylan Cease.
Yeah, it is one of those kind of, and it brings up the pitcher. Nice piece of hitting by Leori. Last year with the universal DH, the White Sox didn't have to deal with this scenario. Dylan Cease will take his first pro plate appearance. He never batted even in the minor leagues.
But according to a great piece by James Fegan, he was a good hitting shortstop in Georgia, and he's got a base hit in his first career at bat. Now, what I was just going to say is Dylan, his sophomore year before his velocity spike in Georgia, was one of the top hitters on his high school team as a shortstop, and there he's loaded the bases for Tim Anderson.
Oh, the dugout loves it. This is where NL style ball is fun. You know, you see this maybe 1 out of every 10, 11 at bats from pitchers in the National League, but Moustakas had nowhere to go. And there's the reaction.
He's 1 for 1. Awesome. Adam Engel's got the baseball for him. And he might or might not be doing a Dylan Cease impersonation. That looked like he was in full impersonation mode in the dugout.
Yeah.
And there's ball 1 to Tim Anderson. But, you know, depending on how this at bat goes, that could be a huge base hit for the White Sox.
Sure could. Just making Hoffman throw more pitches here in the second, and already at 40 for the night.
Tim shoots that through the right side. That's a base hit for at least 2 for the Sox, as there is run number 2. Garcia is home, and it's 2 more for a 3-0 lead because of Dylan Cease.
Well, you love the kind of the 2-rally inning, the leadoff homer from Abreu, and then Eaton and Vaughn strike out. Grandal takes the 2-out walk. Garcia and Cease with back-to-back hits, and then Anderson comes through, and they're able to cash in.
Tim Anderson to the dugout, and Dylan Cease helps build a White Sox rally in the 2nd inning. And by the way, Dylan got to 3rd on that hit from Tim Anderson.
Good catch. Playing the whole game.
See, look, I know DHs are better hitters, but man, it's fun to watch somebody who's not supposed to get a hit get a hit.
It is. It is. I would say, having watched a lot of NL ball, what makes it so great is that it doesn't happen very much.
Good leadoff 3rd for Dylan Cease. Nick takes ball 2. No attempt by Anderson to get to 2nd.
Almost looked like TA was trying to get in a rundown. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm not sure I want Dylan Cease trying to steal home here.
You're not looking for Dylan to further his legacy?
No, he's got a 3-0 lead. I want him back on the mound.
Maybe more. We'll see what Madrigal can do on 3-0. What do you think Joe McEwen's saying to Dylan Cease?
To Dylan. He's telling him if it gets by, make sure it goes all the way to the backstop before you try to score. I think he's telling Nick to take, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Gotta be.
I want Moncada up there with the bases loaded.
Got a strike, 3-1. 8th batter of the inning for the Sox, and the bullpen is up and loosening for Cincinnati.
Get a license plate here in a second. Jose De Leon.
45 pitches. And the Cincinnati bullpen has really struggled with walks this year. So we'll see if the Sox patience late in the game affects this series. Ooh, Madrigal was right. That should have been ball 4. It is strike 2.
It's a good take anyway. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. So it looked like ball 4.
So a couple of fastballs to the corner. 1st and 3rd. 3-2 for Madrigal. Slider pop foul.
Yeah, this bullpen has had its issues, especially the late inning guys. If you can get into that pen early, not a bad thing. And yes, it's 3-0, but we're only in the 2nd, and this is a very high-powered Reds offense, so got to keep pressing.
7.5 runs a game in home games so far this year in a 1-month span. Clipped foul.
How does he do it? I don't think he's even swung and missed 10 times this season.
The first swing and miss took a while. Then the second one took even longer. Strikeout 3% of the time.
I'm not calling a home run in this series, but if he's going to hit one this year, this would be a pretty good park for him.
Checked his swing.
Now he went.
Oh, he went around strike 3. Now he's going to peel off for first, and the Reds will walk off. 3 runs, though, for the Sox. Dylan Cease's first major league hit. It did not go as far as this. Jose Abreu gets a round of applause and a 3-0 Sox advantage. 3-0 Sox, bottom 2 after an 8-batter. Top of the 2nd inning. And time now for StatCast, presented by Google Cloud. And we take you to fictional Great American Ballpark. We're comparing the outfield walls between Great American Ballpark and Guaranteed Rate Field. And you see where Guaranteed Rate Field is shaped differently from Great American Ballpark, further out in the right center field gap and left field as well. And so the baseballs will fly. Only Coors Field, that looks like a koosh ball, only Coors Field and Yankee Stadium have seen more home runs since 2016.
It'll never happen, but if you could make a case for the fences going farther out from home plate, it would be here.
Yeah.
Just about every park that's been built in the last 20 years, eventually they brought some portion of the fence in. They don't need to do that in Cincinnati.
No, I mean, there was the whole hullabaloo about Citi Field, Petco Park as well, how big it plays. The college game had a substantial issue with the new TD Ameritrade ballpark right around where Moustakas used to play in Kansas City and Omaha. The college baseball people said it's way too difficult to hit a home run. You got to change the dimensions. But could you imagine, you know, 480 to center? Can you imagine like the Polo Grounds nowadays? Twitter would freak out.
It would. I wouldn't have a problem with it, though. Boy, his stuff looks good tonight. 328, very reachable. But again, it's when I think of really good home run parks, I think of reachable alleys, because most of the balls are hit toward the middle of the field.
High fastball. Hit foul. Moncada toward the wall. He reaches, and that net got in the way.
I don't have the number, but I know a couple years ago, Mike Moustakas had one of the highest infield pop-up rates in the game. And you may recall Joey Votto went several seasons, I think, with only 1 or 2.
And like none to first base.
Yeah, the first one he hit to first base was like in year 12 of his career, something like that.
Changeup upstairs, strike 3. Dylan Cease, 21 in a row retired, dating back to his last start.
Got him on a changeup this time. He's been really good against lefties. Right-handed batters have done most of the damage against Dylan so far this season.
That was Giolito-esque with the high changeup there. 11 strikeouts in his last 21 batters, dating back to that last successful start against the Tigers. What is Eugenio Suarez walking up to?
I don't know. I
Is that
like
the
it.
Titanic soundtrack?
Is that a reference to his start?
Defensively, certainly. He has had a really rough go in the field, and the offense has not been what Reds fans expected, especially after 49 homers 2 years ago.
Recently went through an 0 for 26. First 3-hit game on Sunday, and just his second multi-hit game of the season.
They moved around this infield, and our buddy Mike Petriello just tweeted today the outs above average not so leaderboard. He is -9 in outs above average at shortstop, which is just an excruciating start defensively, and you wonder, as people say, if he took it to the plate with him in the first 27 games of this season.
Yeah, the construction of this Reds roster is pretty interesting. Moustakas actually started spring training at second base, and then eventually moved back to his more natural position of third, with India taking over at second, and then that moved Suarez to short.
Ball 4, first base runner tonight for Cincinnati is a Suarez walk. And it's time now for our player profile. It's presented by Geico. Make it easy. And it's the entire Cincinnati offense. 151 runs, #1 in baseball, to 43 home runs. And weighted on base average is #1 as well. And that typically rises with slugging percentage.
And this is why you don't want to walk people in this lineup, because they can hit the ball a long way. Speaking of Great American Ballpark, Tyler Naquin off to this great start. Their general manager Nick Krall said that his left-handed swing plays better in this smaller park than it did in Cleveland.
Tim says go away, and he makes the catch, and 2 down. Well, Tim was not as vocal as that in the error a couple days ago at home, and Tim usually is the guy to make the call and do it that loudly, and he and Moncada ran into each other with the wind during the homestand and created the error.
I was talking to Darren Jackson about it, who played a lot of center field, and he said the captains, typically the shortstop on the infield, the center fielder, and the outfield. I got it, I got it, I got it, is what guys usually say. That's 3 I got it's. He said the captain has to do it 4 or 5 times, because what will happen is if both guys yell I got it, I got it, I got it, you don't hear the other guy. So the idea is you got to keep yelling it as the captain out there, which is an interesting thing. Now that's how he did it.
Right.
That's how we're going to do it this week.
I got it.
With promos and.
Did I do it right?
No, you only did it once.
I got it, I got it, I got it.
Yeah. Right.
Now people think my batteries are dying. I say one of 3 phrases if you pull the string. It's like the toy you got at Christmas that stopped working after 12 days.
Chatty Benetti doll.
Right. Yeah, thank you for allowing people that nickname. 0-2, that's a tight slider, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes from Cease to Barnhart. You mentioned a couple gold gloves for Tucker Barnhart, who just missed Lance Lynn at Brownsburg High School in Indiana.
Reds are getting crazy offensive production out of their catcher core. Barnhart and Tyler Stevenson, collectively .337 with an OPS of .929. That's bench like.
1-2, and that is a dart that's foul. Anybody who's a Reds fan that's tuned in on MLB TV said he better mean one of them needs to ride the bench.
No, I mean Hall of Famer Johnny.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the greatest of all time at his position. A storied franchise Cincinnati has some great names, including Barry Larkin, who's doing some television for them now with new TV announcer John Sadak.
Yeah, congrats to John.
A good man, John Sadak. This being a minor league opening day, John and I were in multiple minor leagues together in AAA and Single A, and very happy for that gentleman now in the Reds TV booth. Two and two for Barnhart. High changeup, strike three. Two really good high changes give Dylan Cease his strikeouts in the second inning, and the command has been, for the most part, really good again today. Sox by 3 in Cincinnati. Third inning is brought to you by Hyundai. Sox by 3, and now for the third, here's Len Casper.
Thank you, Jason. Are we going to do this every 2 innings?
Yeah, we are.
Now for the play-by-play.
That's how baseball works when you have two play-by-play announcers.
Yeah. A lot of Sox fans at the ballpark tonight. Good to see in Cincinnati. This series will likely be over in about 18, 19 hours from now. They've got an early start on Wednesday, and then an off day in Kansas City before a big weekend set with the Royals. White Sox got 3 off Hoffman in the second, and Moncada takes a high strike. He thought he got one in the first, but it was caught on the warning track in center. There's an 0-1. Takes that fastball high. You mentioned opening day in the minor leagues. Gavin Sheets with a home run in his first AAA at bat for Charlotte. He's playing right field tonight. Ball is into the right field corner. He's got a 16 game on base streak with that leadoff double.
All right, so that's 2 well hit balls for Yoan Moncada. These are not mirage numbers. This is a guy who is squaring up the baseball, and for Jeff Hoffman it may be a very short night because that's a breaking ball that's left-hand wheelhouse, and Moncada didn't miss.
Yeah, they've been on him really since the start of this game, and we saw early action in the Reds' pen. Like the White Sox, they were off yesterday, so they have a pretty stock bullpen, and we're going to see more action here in a second. Here comes Abreu. Smashed a leadoff homer in the second to left center. And he takes low on a slider.
This is not everything, but the Sox do have the 5 hardest hit baseballs in this game so far. Right now, the offense is looking like what you'd want it to a day after. I know it's a day after, but this is a nice deep breath for everybody.
Absolutely.
Early.
Yep. Hoffman facing the White Sox for the second time. This is going to get away. Moncada will advance to third. Oh, wild pitch. Barnhart really had no chance. That ball came up and got him under the mask. Good read by Yoan. Looks like the Reds will leave their infield back with nobody out in the 2-0 count on Abreu.
They know how their ballpark plays. That's in part an indicator of what they think this game could be.
Here it is. Get me over slider. And the count is 2-1. Sox 15-12 starting the night. 1 back of KC and 1 up on Cleveland. Here it comes. Now 2-2.
They used to call it pitching backward, right? Slider curveball after 2-0. But the league is about 50% fastball, 50% non-fastball now. That's no longer pitching backward. That's just pitching.
That's right. Yep, more velocity than ever before and more breaking balls. than ever, because those are what get swings and misses. Look at Barnhart way off the plate, and it worked. Boy, hit the mitt, and Jose went after it. It's a big first out.
So we like to show you White Sox fans in Cincinnati from your previous trips. If you've been to Great American Ballpark, just been around the area in your Sox gear, hashtag postcards from Cincinnati. And I got to say, we looked at it before the game. People were sending it in already. We hadn't even put up the hashtag. There's some great pictures from Sox trips to Cincinnati. So share with us. What's your favorite part of Cincinnati?
Well, I got a cool diner I like to go to, Hathaway's Diner, which is downtown. Have a nice cup of coffee, kind of old school. Grab an omelet before the ball game. And you know, you're right across the river from Kentucky. And so you actually, the airport's in Kentucky. And I don't know about you, but I like crossing states off my list. It's the only time I've spent in Kentucky is going to the airport.
That's it?
So when you go to Cincinnati, you go to 2 states.
Right.
It's kind of cool, right?
You've never been to Louisville?
I have not.
We should do the Derby one year after this whole baseball thing's over. I invited Stoney to the Derby on Sunday, so I figure I might as well.
2047, we're in. Eaton takes Lowell. It's from Springfield, Ohio, not too far from Cincinnati. And he has been in a slump. That's being kind. He's 0 for his last 17. Pressed into duty off the bench early on Sunday when Robert went down. That's what happens when you're 0 for 17. That 3-0 pitch gets called a strike.
I was going to say, and knowing Adam like we do, he's the type of guy who's going to say to himself, that's what happens when I'm 0 for 17.
Infield is in with 1 out. Bounced wide of third, picked by Super Joe McEwing.
Super Joe looked pitcherish there. He went to the mouth. He gave it the look. Now he's checking to see if fingers are okay.
Supposed to wait until you're off camera, Joe. Comes a payoff, and he hit him, of course. So instead of a walk, he gets hit by that 3-2 pitch.
Ooh. There's very little padding down there too.
Right knee. It's too bad it hit him. If it didn't, it might have gotten past Barnhart and allowed a run to score. That's going to be it for the starter.
Wow.
David Bell is out. He's going to make a change in the 3rd. Sox lead 3-0, threatening to get more. We'll be right back. For the Lakeside Bank call to the pen, Lakeside Bank. It's about time. It is right-hander Jose De Leon. He made 2 starts to begin the year, filling in for Sonny Gray, who will pitch tomorrow and then join the bullpen on April 14th. And it has been a struggle. He's given up 6 earned runs in just over 7 innings with 5 walks, but he has struck out 14. He's going to work to Andrew Vaughn with runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out. The Reds will set up for a shot at a double play here in the 3rd inning.
A lot of sinkers from De Leon, and that's a high one, but you'd imagine that's what he would use to try and find the double play, because his changeup has been very hittable this year. Batters are 9 for 18 against his changeup this season.
Throws his changeup about a quarter of the time. Another sinker was up. The somewhat desired result, and Vaughn down 0-2. Got a mohawk working. Looks like it.
That is all over the place.
Fouled back.
I kind of like it though. It's got style. It's got panache.
It's the kind of thing that probably looks better with a hat on.
It looks like it's trying to escape the hat.
It's like hockey hair, right?
Yes.
It always looks good in a helmet. We'll check on Eaton. Native of Puerto Rico, Jose Eugenio de Leon.
Remember, there was the Jose de Leon that pitched twice for the White Sox in the 80s and 90s, who actually finished his career with the Expos. The other Jose de Leon in '95.
Ooh. Way up and in. The count is 1-2 on Vaughn. Contact paramount here. Just don't want to hit into a double play. That's the changeup. Good take.
You would figure sinker on 2-2. He's gone high sinker basically the entire at bat. And there's a defense playing for 2.
Vaughn's been in a nice stretch, 379 over his last 9 games. And that pitch was up on a changeup. This will get the job done. Naquin makes the grab. This throw will go to second. That's the right play as Moncada scores. Sac fly for Andrew Vaughn. It's 4-0.
You know, Chuck and Ozzie and Frank were talking about guys playing beyond where they have been to create offense for the Sox. What you can also do is be a very good, better than probability suggests you should be, hitting team with runners in scoring position.
That's
you get
right.
runs like that, you're going to make up for some of the loss of Luis Robert, but you better be good in those situations.
And the White Sox have been kind of middle of the pack in terms of batting average with runners in scoring position. That's a no at bat, but got the run in. So Eaton still at first, and Grandal takes a heater right down Main Street. The biggest thing here is not only the lead, but the fact that they got the starter out of there early. Can hopefully see a lot of arms out of the Reds bullpen.
And while Cincinnati had an off day yesterday, they did use 6 pitchers on Sunday. So if you use somebody like Heath Hembree or Ryan Hendricks, who's been really good out of their bullpen, that is still 3 and 4 days, and you can probably get them down for tomorrow's early start.
They might have been without Amir Garrett, who was told today he was going to be suspended for 7 games for that altercation against the Cubs the other day, but he has appealed, so he is available tonight. We'll get into that situation a little later. 1-2 on Grandal. There's a former college basketball and baseball star at St. John's. Missed on a changeup. 2-2.
Bob Grimm's St. John's.
That's
Red
right.
Storm.
Yeah. Bob Grimm, the longtime director of broadcasting with the White Sox, who recently retired. He got him on a changeup. Grandal's convinced it hit the dirt, and I think Mike Malinsky said, I agree.
That changeup must be better tonight. Yasmani typically takes this pitch. Yep.
Good call. Short lead by Eaton. And A high fly out to right. And this one will be handled by Castellanos. White Sox add a run, 4-0 in the third. Bottom three, Dylan Cease has allowed just one base runner, a second inning walk. No, velocity and spin rate generally are attached, and Dylan Cease ranks fourth in four-seam fastball average spin rate, and he ranks fourth in four-seam fastball average velocity. Explain why.
Well, you know, one of the things you get from spin rate now with StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, is StatCast is now measuring how much your spin is actually affecting the movement of the ball in the way you want it to. So when you used to get spin rates, people are like, I don't care what revolutions per minute is. And I still think a lot of people don't care. But the reason you should care is we're getting closer to realizing what a really good pitch is based on how much the pitcher is actually commanding the spin. You don't want to talk about like the Magnus effect or anything like that, do you? Because we'll have to get Alan Nathan on the line from U of I.
What I was going to add is when you see rise, it's really more of a perception that the ball doesn't go down quite as much. It just it has the look of a rise. 2-1 the count on the rookie India. And as we know, most pitchers these days try to live at the top, if not above, the strike zone. Like that.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I just love watching pitchers work nowadays. Everything we know about them designing pitches. Like it hurts to see Dustin May be done for the year for the Dodgers. Because what he's done with his curveball is a really wild thing. He's reshaped his curveball, and we've seen Dylan Cease's slider get better this year already.
That's a leadoff walk to India.
Hey, the White Sox and Country Financial are teaming up to recognize those individuals who now more than ever have faced the challenge to keep students focused on learning. Do you know an educator who deserves recognition? Nominate them for the Country Financial Teacher Appreciation Spotlight by visiting whitesox.com/teacher spotlight today. Your favorite teacher ever?
I'm gonna go counselor. Bill Baxter at Marquette University, my advisor.
Why?
Longtime public relations professor, because he had a background in broadcasting and immediately said I should go after an internship with the Milwaukee Bucks when I was a freshman, even though it was for upperclassmen, and I got it.
And now here you are.
And now here I am. This is De Leon. Fastball just missed. So there you have it. The pitcher's batting about $124 since 2016. Although Dylan Cease 1 for 1 tonight. You got to throw him a strike.
Yeah, this is a have to have, or else Cincinnati with Winker and Castellanos, two guys who have crushed the baseball this year. You set yourself up for 4-0 becoming 4-2 and 4-3.
Bunted foul. Leon does not look all that comfortable up there. White Sox got 3 in the second, added 1 in the third. Chased Jeff Hoffman out after 2 1/3. First time through the order. This is the 9-hitter. Cease has not allowed a hit. Runner takes off, and that is bunted fair. And it'll end up being a sacrifice, even though India was basically going to steal the bag. 1 down.
Looked to me, based on our view, that he got a very nice jump, and you wonder. I mean, De Leon is just not very experienced with the bat. There are other players who probably would have pulled it back there, but the Sox do get the out.
Now Winker with a man in the scoring position for the first time tonight for the Reds. Recently dealt with some back tightness. He went into the game tonight pacing the NL at 365 for his batting average. Good curve to start it.
Last couple of starts, Dillon has been more likely to throw that curveball for a strike to get ahead in the count, and it's helped.
One changeup is low. Started a little over an hour late due to rain. Important to get this one in because it's the White Sox only trip to Cincinnati. We will see the Reds in Chicago in the final homestand of the year in late September. Going to check down at third and no swing. It's Shane Livensparger. Crew chief is Sam Holbrook. He's at first base.
It's a tough angle to tell. That's the look we have from Cincinnati. If it looked to you like he swung, it looked to me like he swung as well. But it's like showing the goal line from the 7-yard line in football.
Doesn't really help. Yes. But I agree. I think even from that angle, looked like he offered at it. 2-2. Winker will regroup. That's an unhittable pitch, but it's a strike. Really no way he can get to that ball, so he took it. Thought it was inside, and it wasn't. Well, it might have been.
Very decisive.
Anderson standing right at the bag at second. And it's 3-2. This is a part of the order where you really can't mess around too much. You've got Castellanos and Votto to follow.
You remember he came right at Winker with a 3-2 fastball first time around.
Struck him out. Here it is. Walked him. All the Chicago sports you can handle, it's all here on NBC Sports Chicago, your home for the Hawks, Sox, and Bulls. So don't miss any of the action. Keep it here. Download the My Teams app to stream games all season long.
All right, so Ethan Katz is coming out of the dugout after 2 walks in 3 batters, and the only out being the pitcher's spot, and it's about recalibrating here for Dylan Cease. I thought it was interesting they went 3-2 slider there.
Yeah, I did too. I thought they might go back to the fastball, which got him his first time. But they probably also thought he's thinking, I'm going to get that same pitch that struck me out in the first.
You know, I was clicking around earlier today, just taking a look at what Cincinnati is good at, and one of the things that stands out is the Reds are second best in baseball in slugging percentage against fastballs 97 and higher. It's like .815 slugging against hot fastballs this year, and that's been part of their success. They can turn around very live arms, so maybe that plays into the 3-2 slider.
Even though, right, he got him in the first. Yep. Castellanos swings and misses on a backup slider. Those numbers you were talking about. Giants running away from the pack at the moment. Look at that, 9-8-7-6-5. You don't see top 5 spread like that, do you?
You don't.
It's like 100 points. Awkward, almost a 2-strike swing there. It's 0-2.
And it's not like 12 pitches that they've seen. It's a sizable enough grouping that we're going to put on the screen for you. That's shocking.
I don't know if I've ever seen a graphic that looked quite like that.
Which it shows you how hard it is, right? Like, yes. There are teams that are in the 300s.
He's got him 0-2. 2 on, 1 away, third inning. In case you missed it, so you see the Giants are 108 ahead of the Reds, who are 115 ahead of the Padres, who are 68 ahead of the Rockies, who are, what, 118 ahead of the Red Sox. Incredible. So the 30th team is like negative 740.
That's right.
He got him on velocity. The key was it was 96, not 97.
That's exactly it. And he measured it perfectly to make sure that he didn't hit 97. This is a beautiful spot for a 1-2 pitch.
Too close to take. Couldn't reach it. I think the other area for Dylan, and what I've seen early in the year, and you've seen it more than I have over the last couple of years, here's Votto, is even when he gets ahead, is pressing his advantage 0-2. Pitch to Votto, big swing and a miss. And what I mean by that is, instead of going 0-2 to 3-2 or 0-2, 2 fouls, ball 1, another foul, ball 2, and then strike him out, is you get 0-2 and you end it within 2 or 3 pitches. That's where his pitch counts have really been bloated at times.
But you can see as well, and I completely agree with that, especially compared to the past couple years, his confidence in the breaking ball has grown tremendously even in the last couple starts. That was a really tight slider on 0-1.
So now he's got Votto 0-2. And the one thing you know about Votto, he does not go out of that zone too often. And he got him. Wow. An in-zone fastball. Impressive stuff from Dylan Cease. He's got 6 strikeouts through 3. He's worked around a handful of walks, and the Sox lead 4-zip.
Being a White Sox fan here in Minnesota, it's not easy. Not only do I get the delay for Sox math questions, makes it almost impossible to win. Almost. There's so many Twins fans here. You see a Royals fan every once in a while, maybe Detroit Tigers, maybe Cleveland Indians. Not many of us. There's not many Sox fans, just me and my grandpa up here. But I don't think any of them have hat game like I do. Back to you, Steve and Jason.
We didn't tell our Sox math winner that you were going to be here, Len.
I get called Steve all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Steve Casper?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good video.
It was excellent.
Good use of props.
Great hat game. Should also remind him it's Jason and Steve. Here's Leori. Ball 1.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh, I'm tweaking you.
I'm just going to pay for it next week.
Garcia 1 for 1 with a run scored. He's playing center field tonight. De Leon in relief of the starter Hoffman. Sinker strike. Working pretty quickly, and that is a leadoff walk. You want to do it?
Do you know it?
No.
Hashtag Sox math. I meant, did you know the answer? First correct answer. Yeah, gets to do the video tomorrow. Games on the road trip multiplied by Tim's jersey number, plus games Davidson pitched for the Sox and Reds combined, minus the total Scrabble value in the call letters of Arthur Carlson's radio station. See, so
that
Sox math
reference I know.
Yeah, Sox math skews young, so I think this is going to be a little bit of a mind bender.
Yes,
oh, no.
Dylan Cease, a high drive to right, way back there. corner, and it's off the wall. Garcia to third. He's 2 for 2, and he just missed a home run. The White Sox in the National League Park, whatever. Unbelievable.
He almost went full John Garland in Cincinnati. That thing nearly left. And look, I was half kidding when I said he was one of the best hitters on his high school team his sophomore year. But Chuck said it during batting practice last homestand. He hit a couple out of the ballpark here at Guaranteed Rate Field, and that was a legit swing.
Second and third, nobody out. And he had started to bunt. He was starting to show bunt, pulled it back, and hit it over Castellanos.
So I'm just going to say the Sox are looking for somebody to pick up Luis Roberts' offense. There's your answer.
Love the narrative. Infield in. Slider is outside. There you go. Multiple homers in BP. Did he call it though? Did he? Really?
Well, he deserves at least a portion of credit.
Okay.
Tough crowd.
Well, he pointed out what happened.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Just kidding, Chuck. That is a foul ball. I'll give you credit, Chuck.
The truck's still laughing at you burying Chuck. It's Truck versus Chuck, and the truck wins.
Hey, the fourth inning is brought to you by Elk Grove Village. Learn more about our Beyond Business Friendly community at makerswanted.org. Swing and a miss. They wanted to chuck that tweet into the river.
It's not far.
White Sox trying to break this one wide open, already leading 4-0. Anderson with a 2-run single in the second. I don't know about you, but even this year compared to last year, the high fastball, it's so prevalent. I'm still getting used to it.
Coming with that is the high slider. A lot more high slider to go with the high fastball.
Everything.
Yep.
Change ups. Yep. Full count. First base open. Walk to Garcia, and then the pitchers cease. Doubled to the wall and right. You see Votto way off the line at first.
Tim's been on it all night. There has been really solid contact. Some of it foul, one of it for an RBI earlier.
Another 3-2 home. Bounced wide of third. He had a short IL stint earlier. Missed 8 games with a left hamstring strain. He swung the bat really well since he came back. Another 3-2 and a base hit. Garcia scores. Cease will hold at third. It's 5-0.
You cannot miss in the zone with a breaking ball to Tim Anderson. He has gotten so good at hitting bad breaking balls, and this was one of them.
Keeping the line moving. Sox have 7 hits. Still nobody out. Runners at the corners. The batter is Madrigal. A rare strikeout. A check swing in the second after he lined to center in the first.
I don't want to overvalue one game, Len, but I believe.
But you're going to.
I am. I'm about to. It's like saying I don't want to be a jerk. Something bad's going to happen to the other person. This says something about the spirit of the White Sox.
Tap back to the pitcher. He's going to fire to second. One. Relay late, and Cease stayed put at third. I think a lot of guys would have scored on that play, but you know, you've got an inexperienced base runner out there in Dylan Cease. Unfortunately, Madrigal stayed out of the double play, so 1 away.
You don't want Cease getting hurt.
No.
Doing something drastic either. He's saying get my head in the game to himself, or maybe to Moustakas, or maybe to Joe McEwing.
But as you were saying.
No, I was just going to say I think it says something about the spirit of the team. You don't know what the offense is going to look like the next 5 months. We don't know how much the Sox are going to hit. We don't know what the toll is going to be of Robert being gone. But to go up early on the road trip the day after, 2 days after you have something like that happen, I think is a good sign about what the clubhouse is like.
For sure. You could just feel how everything deflated after the injury on Sunday. I'm not saying the White Sox win the game if he doesn't get hurt, but that was a rough day. The White Sox could get little going offensively, and then after the news came down yesterday that Luis is going to be out a while, all the conversation is what now? And the White Sox are saying, all right, we'll put up at least 5.
The ballpark sounded like a golf tournament after Robert got hurt on Sunday.
Inside on a fastball. Reds are shifting to the right on the infield. That's Moustakas playing halfway between second and third. Moncada rips this one into right. Cease will trot home. And on to third goes Madrigal. 6-0.
Don't get to say this very often, but Moncada joins Anderson and Cease with 2 hits.
So 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 more here in the fourth. And still only 1 out. And here comes Jose again. It's like Sal Romano just grabbed the ball in the Reds' pen. That's a strike. Royals have an early 1-0 lead in the third. Cleveland and KC going at it. Outside for a ball. Let's go back to that long home run. No doubter in the second. Nice grab out there. It's about the 8th time I've seen the replay. First time I noticed.
Yeah. By the way, when that home run left, it struck me how loud the ballpark was. There are a lot of Sox fans in Cincinnati for this series.
Fouled back.
I was talking about the John Garland home run. A couple buddies of mine and I decided, like day of, to drive to Cincinnati a decade and a half ago to watch Sox and Reds. First thing, it's a longer trip to Cincinnati than you think.
It is, yeah.
Plan a little bit better than we did. Number 2, we popped a tire about 10 minutes outside the city and had to get AAA and a nice police officer to help us so we could get in to see the Garland home run.
There's a bullet to left, and it's going to be caught. Tagging and heading to the plate is Madrigal. That'll be a sacrifice fly for Abreu. He absolutely massacred that baseball. and it's 7-0. Speaking of loud, that had a great sound.
Yeah, that was 1812 overture like.
Adam Eaton with 2 down, fouls away.
He looked so comfortable the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the season in the batter's box, and since maybe the last 5, 6 days, we've seen him swing and miss at a bunch of breaking balls out of the strike zone, and that was not at all what he was doing the first road trip homestand 3 weeks or so.
Fouled away again. Just it can come and go so quickly in this game. Votto carrying on another long chat, this time with Moncada.
He's got to have a talk show when his career's over, right?
No, that's not a strike, Mike. But I guess it is when, again, you're struggling like Eaton is. But it's 7-0 White Sox in the 4th. Reds nothing, bottom 4. Hey, test your luck during every White Sox away game this season with a 50-50 raffle. Sox Split, presented by Wintrust, is on sale now. Get your Split the Pot 50-50 tickets at whitesox.com/Sox Split. Valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. 1-0 on Mike Moustakas. Mike Sorotka, the last Sox pitcher with a 2-hit game prior to Dylan Cease tonight. That was June 12th of '99 at Wrigley Field. Moncada's going to have room for out number 1.
The most notable recent pitcher feat for a Sox hitting pitcher, I think of Anthony Renato with that homer he had at Wrigley. What was it?
That's right. Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yep. I don't know if Dylan's thinking about a natural cycle, but single double so far, he's halfway there. Suarez takes a fastball low and outside.
Why don't you text Boog and let him know he's halfway to the cycle?
Yeah.
He'll like that.
Oh, no, when he's a triple away, that's when. Suarez said in spring training, I'm going to hit 50 this year. 2 years ago, he banged 49, as you mentioned. National League record. Single season for a third baseman. He's now a shortstop once again. And he takes outside on a 4-seamer. A little bit of cutting action on that. That is not what Dylan wants. So it's a little recalibrate here. It usually says just a tad out of whack mechanically. We didn't see it at all in his last start.
And there it is again.
Outside. Yeah, 3-1 on Suarez.
He has relied very heavily on the fastball, and the fastball command generally has been pretty good tonight. We'll see what he does 3-1.
Back to work, the pitch. Charged by Nick, and that's out number 2. Timeout for a message for Powering Chicago.
Do you have electrical work you need done at your home or business? Visit poweringchicago.com and click the Find a Contractor button. On time, on budget, done the right way every time. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
Here's Naquin. Can I be honest with you?
Please.
I almost said timeout for a massage.
Oh, did you really?
For some reason, that's what I saw when I looked at the graphic. Yeah. But I quickly recovered and said message.
There's nobody here to do that, so thank goodness you recovered.
Curve in the dirt.
Well, look.
Reading is, you know, it's easier than it sounds sometimes.
But it's been a calm night. This has been a very serene night for Sox fans, and a much needed one, because it was a punched up last 24 hours. So this is like the baseball equivalent of a massage.
That'll be a fair ball to Abreu. He'll take it to the bag. Cease hasn't allowed a hit through 4. 7-0. We are professional grade. 7-0 White Sox. And now let's enjoy the play-by-play stylings of Jason Benetti.
Who did you just become there? The Star Search MC?
I don't know.
A cruise ship captain? What just happened to you? You have sneaky good impressions, by the way. I don't think people know that you have sneaky good impressions, and maybe they'll find out in the next. Is this a Lakeside Bank call to the pen? It's not. It's Sal Romano. I don't do this normally. I don't know. Sal Romano is pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. It is 7-0 Sox with the lead here in the 5th inning. He's Len. I'm Jason. We thank you for joining us. Joe Grube up here in the booth with us as well, and our entire wonderful crew, as Romano is the 3rd pitcher for Cincinnati, and it has been a rough night for Red Leg fans, including that little one. We're sorry it's 7-0. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Please don't go. They're going to go.
Nothing you can say.
No, I just tried to make them stay. They didn't. You were talking to Mike Malinsky as we went to break. I'm talking to the fans. We both evidently think they can hear us. Here is Andrew Vaughn against Romano out of Southington, Connecticut. And that high school has provided quite a few major league pitchers, including, what a nasty boys, Rob Dibble. I mean,
Carl Pavano?
Yep. You saw Rob Dibble pitch, right?
I sure did.
What do you got on Rob Dibble as this ball will land somewhere in foul territory?
He wasn't afraid to pitch inside.
No, that's true.
I've seen Romano work a lot. And what I always notice, especially from the center field camera, is just how small the 47 looks on his jersey. I mean, he's 6'5", 255. He's a wide man. Big, broad shoulders.
A lot of jersey bottom there. The number is high set. On the ground, high hop. Oh my goodness. Looked like the game was being played on the moon. And Suarez, who's had a rough go of it at shortstop this year, got a nasty jump from that baseball. At least it looked like it to my eye.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he backed up. And usually bad things can happen when you do back up. I don't know if it was a bad hop per se. I mean, it was a 2-bouncer. It's got to be an error.
So now 1 on, nobody out. They're going to call it a hit,
Okay.
and they have to be calling it a bad hop base hit.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't see the bad hop on the replay. I did initially. It looked like it had to be.
To me, the first hop was a pretty springy bounce in the first place, so there must have been substantial spin on the ball.
Are you of the mindset of using analytics to affect official scoring? Where if a hard hit ground ball, let's say, is 110 or above, that could make an error a hit?
I think it's evidence you should use if you want to, but I also think we're starting to ask a lot of official scorers. And I think when you're having to make decisions that are snap judgments, I think it's valuable. And I think we should know how difficult it is to play the infield especially. And the reaction time. But also a major league error is still a major league error to the naked eye if you've seen enough of it. To me.
That looked like an error to me.
That's kind of what you have to use as an official scorer, right?
Yeah.
You start getting into that, and then you set rules. And you say, well, if it's 100 miles an hour, it can't be an error. And that's not fair either.
And I think the guy you work with every day who sits in this chair would say, Romano made his pitch. Got a ground ball to short, bouncer to short, and he didn't get an out.
Well, I think any time a hit goes on the board, he's going to make he's going to litigate.
But in this case,
yeah,
I don't think he would need much arm twisting to make his case.
I also think that you could make a strong argument for, say that was a bad hop. Say we watched it again 5 times. We both agreed it's a bad hop. You got to call it something else. He didn't make a mistake, but it's not really a hit either.
Well, team error is the way to bail him out,
I guess. Inside, says Mike Malinsky. And 2 on with nobody out. Here's your Sox math winner. 5 games on the road trip times 7. That's 35. Plus 3 each for the Sox and Reds for Matt Davidson. That's 41. Total Scrabble value of the call letters, which are
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Exactly. Thank you, Johnny Fever. The great television show with Howard Hessman, Gordon Jump, Lonnie Anderson, and a lot of troubled turkeys one day.
More news and less Nessman.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. There's a strike on Leury Garcia with the thunderous bat of Dylan Cease on deck. So, like, we're in the 5th inning. You have Dylan Cease with 2 hits and no hits allowed so far tonight. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I know you're willing to say it as well whenever it comes upon you to say such things, but he hasn't given up a hit so far tonight.
Yeah, 64 pitches. He's been fairly efficient. If he's going to get deep into this game, meaning 7, 8, 9, he can't walk anybody. He's walked 3 already.
Breaking ball in the zone, fouled away by Garcia.
And theoretically, the 7-0 lead should help him in that regard against a lineup that's been very good. Maybe be a tad bit more aggressive. Push comes to shove.
Well, and this is, you always would really like to be in the lead by a lot, but this is the right team to have a big lead against, as that was a nasty running sinker for strike 3, and it looked like it clipped the zone.
Time now for the momentum changer presented by First Midwest Bank. Dylan Cease batting for the first time as a major or minor leaguer. Infield hit. His first time up. And then this shows bunt. And nearly hit it out. As it was, it ended up a double. So he's 2 for 2.
And now you got first and second with 1 out. In some games, you would think about bunting with the pitcher here. Not tonight. And by the way, that was the first pitch he saw tonight that wasn't a hit. That ball 1.
Yeah, he's been aggressive.
Oh my goodness, he did it again. The ceasefire continues. That's 3 for 3. Rodon can't believe it.
It's 3 for 3 against 3 different pitchers.
Wow.
Hoffman, De Leon, and now Romano. Well, I think we know this. And with runners at second to start the 10th, games have not been going beyond 12. But Tony La Russa knows in an American League game, if his bench runs out, this guy could pinch hit at some point.
You're absolutely right. And we all just learned that together tonight.
Yep.
Tim Anderson rips it foul. Last year we saw Garrett Crochet come into a game for the first time. That was in Cincinnati, and he wowed everybody with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Dylan Cease has turned into Frank Thomas, who I'm sure is in the studio and is just standing and cheering. People love seeing pitchers hit, and we certainly do tonight.
And remember, Chuck called it.
You're going to go with that now? That is the back pedal of all back pedals, Casper. Chuck was on it. Look, Chuck is a great reporter when he's in the ballpark. Somehow he's an even better reporter from the studio. How does he do it? Dylan Cease, who again, if you read The Athletic, James Fegan was on this, on Dylan Cease in 2019, and his velocity increase coinciding with him stepping away from the bat as TA strikes out for round number 2, and Madrigal will bat. Again, I think a lot of people, when they say pitchers need to hit, sound old and crusty, and people say, well, we want the best players to hit. To me, I watch baseball for the surprise of it, for the fact that any day somebody could do something otherworldly, and pitchers hitting allows for that.
I will say I do like the fact that the universal DH has gone away. I don't know if it's permanent. My guess is it'll be back sooner than later, but the fact that for at least a handful of days we get to see the Sox play a National League style.
Variety's the spice of life, right?
That's right.
Narrowly edging oregano.
Along those lines, are we going to see some Romano cheese in this at bat?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Or will it be the off-speed stuff? Ah, a slider.
Here's the problem with no DH. And it's been fine tonight, but you're mean. Got to get him back in the lineup at some point, and that'll probably be Friday night in Kansas City.
Barring an opportunity late tomorrow, or if this game somehow goes sideways. With a swing, Madrigal adds to the lead into right. That's an RBI single for Nick Madrigal, and it is 8-0 the Sox in Cincinnati.
We've scored now in each of the last 4 innings. Madrigal picks up his teammate Tim Anderson. Boy, everybody in this lineup has contributed tonight. Anderson 2 hits, 3 knocked in. Madrigal with that base hit. Moncada 2 hits, Abreu a homer. Eaton got on, scored in the 3rd. Bottom of the order has done it all too.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Moncada takes a strike. That inside corner sinker to a left-hander for Romano. On the ground up the middle, and Easy does it at second base for the final out of the inning. But the Sox add on Dylan Cease. You better smile, 84. Curcio Auto Group. Do you like runs? Do you? Because there are a lot. Jose Abreu deep to left field, second inning, his 6th home run. A lot of Sox fans in the section. Tim Anderson was about to jump and substitute for the second line on the hockey sub. Then TA gets himself a base hit to right, couple of hits, 3 knocked in, and the Sox continued to pound away. That was the second one for Tim Anderson. The graphic told you there were 2. I should have seen it coming. Then Moncada, an RBI single to right, that added on. The Sox have scored in now 4 consecutive innings, and Dylan Cease, Len Casper, is Shohei Ohtani tonight.
He sure is. 3 hits at the plate, but he's been actually better on the mound.
You think?
I would say against this offense, 4 shutout innings, yeah, has fun as it's been watching him swing the bat and run the bases as well. Picked up his third base coach.
Cut the bag well.
Done it all.
You know, some pitchers do not look like they belong swinging or running.
And a lot of guys don't really like it.
Yeah.
He clearly does. But, you know, he's only gone deep once, and that was the complete game in the 7-inning doubleheader tilt against the Tigers. And trying to get through 5 and qualify for the win.
I was shocked when he said post-game to us after that last start that it was his only shutout of his entire baseball life, any level. And then I got to thinking about it, and we live in an era now where in Little League, where in travel ball, there are a lot of restrictions on pitchers. So because of the rules, you're just not ever, unless you go to college, and your college coach is one of those guys that likes to run people out for 9. It's another high changeup tonight. That's become a theme. You're never really going to have a chance.
That's right. Barnhart did something late 2 years ago. A little surprised more guys don't consider, and that is he dropped switch hitting. He was struggling so much from the right side, he just said, you know what, I'm going to stick with one side of the plate.
Dillon got inside on him, and that will curl out of play. 2-2. The brightest hat of the night, by the way, goes to that fan.
Yeah. You know, you think about guys with big, drastic left-right splits as switch hitters. Let's just say, you know, you're a 270, 800 OPS guy, left-handed, and you're a 196, 600 OPS guy from the right side. All you got to do from the left side is not be awful.
That's right. Check swing, no.
Or be less awful. It's one swing to maintain. But I think pride comes into it in a lot of cases. And I think Barnhart at some point just was so frustrated that he said, well, what am I doing? Beat my head against the wall trying to be a switch hitter. I've got enough to worry about catching. And I give him credit for it.
Ripped to right, and that is the first hit tonight for Cincinnati. It's a leadoff base hit for Barnhart in the 5th. And we go to the studio to see what's going on with Frank Thomas, Ozzie Guillen, and the very prescient crystal ball of Chuck Garfien.
Yeah.
Wait, he's got what? Say that again. Oh. Oh, you're talking about Steve. But you're going to find a center fielder in the postgame show. Oh, he found one. How do you... If it's Lance Johnson, you got to tell us right now. Hey, he's a Cincinnati kid. I thought maybe it was one dog. I love you all in the studio. Ozzie, Frank, Chuck, thank you very much. I'm telling you what. The best part of that is that we're going to get 17 tweets from people watching on MLB TV saying, we can't hear the studio. What are they talking about?
Oh, does that happen?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
It's great. we can't do anything about it. It was about Lance Johnson. There you go. 2-2, breaking ball. Got him, strike three. It was a slider, and it tickled the corner or thereabouts.
Mike Malinsky has opened up that side of the plate. And that is strikeout number 7 for Dylan. It is the second of the looking variety.
Told by Joe Grube that the Emmy nominations are in for Studio Hit of the Year.
I like it.
The envelope, please.
Yeah. This is Romano.
Yeah, Romano's going to go ahead and hit. So how often do you see this? The starter doesn't hit for himself, doesn't make it to that point, but 2 relief pitchers end up hitting. In the same game that Joey Votto struck out swinging on 3 straight pitches.
Baseball can be weird. That's why we love it.
I was asking you. I was hoping you'd have those numbers on
No,
Baseball
I
Reference, StatHead, or something.
I always revert back to Jason Stark. Baseball makes no sense. That's my stat.
That's a tall guy to strike out at the top of the strike zone, and Dylan Cease now has 8 strikeouts, 1 hit, 3 walks, 2 times through the order.
1 out away from qualifying. Didn't mess around. Had the pitcher in swing mode. Who wouldn't be in swing mode watching Dylan Cease tonight?
Yeah, you gotta compete.
He can do it. I can try it.
You know that happens.
100%. I think it's easier too when it's a relief pitcher who doesn't bat often. He's not going up there to walk.
Love the first pitch changeup there from Dylan Cease too. He has really mixed his stuff in counts and overall for the ball game, despite relying on the fastball for a bunch of the strikeouts.
See, that's a pitch Winker has not been able to handle. He struck him out on that very pitch in the first inning. He went with a 3-2 slider in the third and walked him.
Oh, clang off the helmet of Yasmani Grandal, and Barnhart goes to second base. That sounded like a pipe shot. The Hawks are on the main channel.
Yeah. Let's see where it got him on the mask. Yeah, right in the middle. It drew iron.
Listen in. We should have the technology to swap with Pat Foley for a moment. 1-2. Fouled away. Love that Dylan Cease off a 2-walk third inning. After he walked Winker, struck out Castellanos and Votto back to back. And in those 2 at-bats threw 1 ball and 6 strikes. It didn't unravel for him when it has in the past.
Again, Winker way late on that heater.
They got some loud vendors in Cincinnati, by the way. Vendors with megaphones? What do we got going
really
on?
Good microphones, yes. Right on cue.
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen. Are there? Those are just fans? I mean, I didn't think they would have vendors, but it sounds a lot like a vendor.
That could actually be somebody from a dugout.
You think maybe?
Could be.
Two and two. Struck him out, planted on the inside corner. Winker just said, I'm not arguing, face to face with Mike Malinsky.
Fastball's hit. All White Sox 8-0 as we get into the 6th inning. Time now for our T-Mobile coverage cam. Dylan Cease. Breaking ball to get India. Fastball. It's Romano swinging, and then a little paint job on the inside corner to get Jesse Winker. 9 strikeouts, a hit allowed. That's it through 5. The White Sox bats back to work here in the 6th.
I have a text I'd like to share with you. It is from my broadcast partner on a normal day, Steve Stone, who is watching the telecast. He texts in, thank goodness his wit traveled to Arizona with him. I'm watching on MLB and I can't hear the studio, smiley face.
I love it.
So he's got the carry-on bag, and then he checked his wit, and it made it to PHX. So great to hear from you, Stoney. We'll see you next week, and he's still hilarious from 7 states away. Jose takes ball 2 outside.
Alex Blandino now playing left, Winker to right, so Castellanos done for the evening.
Chopper to third. This is Moustakas on target. 1 down. Sox fans, single game tickets May 11th through the 16th are on sale right now. Be here as the Sox take on the Twins and the Royals. For tickets, go to whitesox.com/single game. You and I know better over the course of 162 than to inflate a couple series. But as the AL Central tries to shapeshift and figure out what it is, those are 2 huge series in the first month and a half. Our first look at Minnesota, and then Kansas City here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Yeah, it should be fun the next couple weeks. Really weird that the Sox and Twins won't see each other for the first time until mid-May, but that's the way the schedule looks.
Odd to open on the West Coast as well while we're at it, with the Sox in Anaheim and then Seattle, as Eaton sprays it foul, 1-1.
Well, since Stoney is open for texting tonight, can you ask him how many multi-hit games he had in his career? 22 career hits.
His last text said, big runs, very nice. So he enjoys the offense and he's efficient with his words. Let's see if he's still watching. Steve, text us. Let us know how many multi-hit games you had in your career. He hit exactly 100, and he's very prideful about it. Tell you what, again, 1 game, but this result so far is exactly what we needed to see from the White Sox after a rough go yesterday and Sunday with the injury to Robert. And frankly, I'm tired of seeing Rick Hahn on Zoom telling us about people missing 12 to 16 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a little too prevalent here, going back to spring training with the Eloy injury. But in a weird way, because the White Sox went through that, I suppose in a strange way, you know, the Luis one, they just say, well, here we go again, right? And I think where I go is I feel bad for the player.
Oh yeah.
You know, yes, this is a devastating blow to the team, but I think the number one thing you think about is, you think about Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Adam Engel. They haven't been able to be a part of this thing right now. And that's I think a mental challenge for all those guys as they try to get back at some point this year.
Adam knew it right there. That's that running sinker again for Romano, and 2 down. We asked for your postcards from Cincinnati. Hashtag postcards from Cincinnati. Where are your pictures? There they are. It's from today. Billy Hamilton in the background. Adam Engel. Here's hoping TA earns some spaghetti. Loves some good pasta. Tim Anderson jersey there. AJ Early. It's not raining. Hashtag it's not raining. And then Mike Hughes, a Xavier fan and the biggest little Tim Anderson fan together. So that's been like a Sox takeover of that ballpark today. Sounds like it to me.
Yeah, and they're drawing fairly well because of the 40% capacity. The rain may have kept a few people away, but it's been loud when the White Sox have done good things.
And a lot of smiling in Sox colors. Sixth inning brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer. Andrew Vaughn, a run, an RBI, and a hit tonight.
Talking about the drive to Cincinnati. This was about 15 years ago when Lou Piniella was managing the Cubs. He and Matt Sinatro, his first base coach, drove to Cincinnati from Chicago for a series. Matt drove to Cleveland. And about, I think like a half hour out of Cleveland, they realized we're going to Cincinnati. So they ended up taking a hard right, and they did get there in time. But that was classic Lou and Matt.
Vaughn to center for out number 3.
It's Ohio. It starts with a C. We'll flip a coin.
No. Time now for the Xfinity high-speed action. It is Dylan Cease's night. A lot of fastball work for Dylan. 9 strikeouts. Good slider there. Castellanos has used the high changeup very well tonight, as you see there. He has mixed pitches very well, and he's busted people on fastballs late in counts. And it's that aw shucks demeanor. We've seen him smile more with the bat than we ever have on the mound in his career. And he's 3 for 3 at the plate as he throws. That's a 91 on the slider.
Yeah, power slider.
How about that? Billy Hamilton.
In center. Garcia goes to right. Eaton is out.
Very nice of the Cincinnati Reds before the game. They did a little tribute on the video board to Billy Hamilton, who spent some time in Cincinnati as he embarked on his major league career. Tony La Russa has been an avid fan of Billy Hamilton late in games when the Sox are leading to use him as a defensive replacement. Adam Eaton's really struggled with the bat in recent days after being one of the Sox best hitters the first few weeks of the season.
Early game tomorrow. I imagine we might see a tweak or two in the lineup.
Breaking ball, and he nailed it. Little kick on the flourish for Dylan Cease. Strikeout number 10.
Well, this 2-start stretch, this has been the best of Dylan Cease's young major league career. Just got command of everything. He's a very competent man right now. And yeah, you like to strut when you have 10 strikeouts and 3 hits.
I just like to see, knowing Dylan Cease and how analytical he is, him just sort of letting go and believing in the stuff. He has, but he's not really displayed it with that level of panache on the mound. And whether that means anything or not long run, it shows you how centered he is right now and how his self-belief has grown.
I just really appreciate that you've used both hullabaloo and panache in the broadcast tonight. Solid work.
Love a good hullabaloo on a Tuesday night. Check swing, did he? No. Joey Votto struck out on 3 last time up after a bouncing ball to first in the first.
Recently hit his 300th major league home run.
3-0.
That was on Friday. Hit up a game winner. Third all time on the Reds list. Bench, Robinson, and Votto. He's 2 hits from the top 5.
And he was walking to Covington, Kentucky on a 3-0 pitch. Jose Ruiz loosening in the White Sox bullpen. Middle fastball. Here's the last at bat for Joey Votto, a very selective hitter and a pretty good contact guy most of the time. Fastball in, strike 1 on a swing. Breaking ball in, strike 2 on a swing, and then a third one busts him on a fastball.
I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember when. 3 straight strikes, all swinging against Votto.
Fastball in, crushed but foul. So we were telling you about that story in The Athletic where they talked to a number of his former teammates. C. Trent does a great job covering the Reds. And Corey Dickerson said when he was in Cincinnati a couple years ago, he hung out with Joey Votto, and one of the books he had on his coffee table was How to Survive in the Wild. And Dickerson said, "What's up with the book?" And he said, "Hey, you never know." Strike 3, changeup for Dylan Cease. And this is mastery from the Sox young right-hander. 11 strikeouts, ties a career high.
5 in a row, and 4 of those 5 have been looking. Votto knew it. Little tip of the cap.
Two down, Moustakas. Slider, a strike.
Should point out that 8 on the right sleeve of the Reds jersey in honor of the late Hall of Famer Joe Morgan.
We saw his name on the wall in the left field corner. One of so many we've lost over the past year. I mean, obviously with COVID-19 across America, but it just feels like sports heroes, especially in baseball. We've lost so many of them. As that's chopped back to Cease, a boomerang for Dylan, and we will see. He's through 6. He's scheduled up 3rd. Will he hit for himself?
Of course he will.
By the Illinois Department of Transportation. Sox by 8. Dylan Cease 3 for 3 at the plate. And now for the 7th. Here's Len Casper.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Ethan Katz chatting with Dylan. You know, it looks like he's done. I said, of course he's going to hit, but I'm not so sure he will. We'll find out. Carson Fulmer is in, facing his former club.
So, as you said that going to break, the fun in me says absolutely let him hit for himself. But then I stopped and thought, as that's one of the rare misses in zone tonight for Malinsky. Then I thought to myself, let him be done at 3 for 3. Let him enjoy what he did. 6 shutout innings, 3 for 3 at the plate, and just be done with it.
I understand that, and that's probably the thought process. But as a fan, I want to see him bat again.
I think we just learned how you and I would differ at the blackjack table. I put the chips in my pocket.
I'm that way too. Good changeup from Fulmer. Kyle Farmer is in for Votto at first base. Fulmer and Farmer into the game. Here it is. Fastball high. I mean, I think if we polled White Sox fans watching right now, we'd probably get 90+% who would say yes, he should bat. Doesn't necessarily mean that'd be the right thing for Cease. That's a strikeout, 1 away.
So why don't we play hashtag hit or not?
Okay.
Why don't we, before Cease comes up, just right now, very quickly, hashtag hit or not, yes or no. Do you want him to hit? Do you want him not to hit?
Here's Garcia.
What do you think most people are going to say?
Yes. They're going to say yes.
So I mostly agree, but I also think there's a piece of, there's Mercedes, so there's your answer.
Yep.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Blaustein's not big on drama, evidently. He doesn't like hit or not.
It was obvious looking at Dylan. They were all high-fiving him.
Will you just let me bury the director, please?
You do whatever you got to do.
Over here.
No, I think that's probably the right call, but I still would love to see it.
Ooh, I got a couple people saying not. The people who are saying no are saying it with exclamation marks. They really like the security of 3 for 3.
Okay.
A lot of people saying yes.
It's a great conversation to have, isn't it? Did you think of all conversations we would have in this game, that the #1 debate would be, should a 3 for 3 Dylan Cease bat for the 4th time? 1-2 fouled away. I forgot I was doing play-by-play for a second.
You know what? We got 2 of us in the booth, and the end result on a night like this, when Dylan goes 3 for 3 at the plate, is that none of us does play-by-play. Now for the 8th, here's Joe Grube.
Fulmer on a 1-2, and we'll do it again. Good to see Carson in the big leagues. He's bounced around a bit since he was with the White Sox. Big league time with Detroit, Baltimore, and now Cincinnati. And a boatload of waiver claims in the interim. I think I count 5 of them since opening day of last year, which was in July.
Carson was always so good in pockets. He'd come out, there'd be a clean inning, next inning couple of walks, and he wore the frustration on his face. He is a very well-liked guy in the clubhouse. He has a great heart, and he just has not put it together. It just hasn't happened yet for him.
Ground ball is foul to first. So Ruiz cranks it up. He'll get the 7th.
Most of the people saying no are dealing with Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez pile up and saying if you let him hit, he will get injured.
That's another good thing. I agree. You don't want to get greedy, right?
But this was so fun, Len.
First pitch swing, infield knock. This is my favorite. Show bunt. Bang!
Oh.
Double. 2 pitches, 2 hits. And releases one into right for a 3 for 3. Looks in the dugout, says, pretty easy.
We got his.
This is hot zone.
That's awesome.
I love the Digby sitting in the dugout, man. That's a good feeling. 6 shutout innings, tie your career high 11 strikeouts, 3 for 3 at the plate. My job is done for the night.
All we are missing is a drink with an umbrella for that picture.
You're mean. The American League Rookie of the Month for April. So the White Sox have garnered that award 3 of the last 4 months. Luis Robert in July and then in August of last year. Swing and a miss, good curve.
Whoever thought we would be discussing whether or not you want your mean Mercedes to hit for Dylan Cease? That's the most casual anyone has ever looked. Got the hair. There's not a place he doesn't care. Hey, if you think the South Side is proud of your mean Mercedes, wait until you hear from his dad. Telemundo Chicago's Hector Lozano sat down with the father-son duo to talk about Yermin's remarkable start to the 2021 season. Use the QR code on your screen or subscribe to the Telemundo Chicago channel on Roku.
Two balls, two strikes. Sox grabbed the lead in the second on the Abreu homer, and they haven't looked back since. Changeup. 3-2.
Don't you want one of those malts on the screen behind the behind home plate? They shouldn't put large food behind the plate.
Yeah. I'm more of a shake than a malt guy, but I wouldn't be too picky.
Really? Yeah. You're not old school like that?
I like a good vanilla shake. Fly ball out into center. It'll be handled out there by Naquin.
Can I just say, get a better favorite flavor?
Oh, beat it. White Sox 8-0 bottom 7 from rainy Cincinnati. So the minor league season getting underway as we look at some of the White Sox top prospects. We saw Jonathan Stever here a little earlier this season. Any name on there in particular jump out at you, Jason?
Jared Kelly. I mean, obviously Mike Rodolfo is very interesting, big power bat that's been hurt before. Jared Kelly, to me, the second pick for the Sox in last year's draft after Garrett Crochet, highly thought of as an extremely live arm. High confidence, spent some time with him on Skype much earlier in the pandemic, right after the draft. And I was really impressed with the fire that he has. I've watched some tape on him, and I've been told by a lot of people who've watched him that it has an extremely live arm. I'm very interested in Kelly, and obviously Cespedes pops out with the name that he's got.
So we will keep you posted throughout the summer of some big performances. Mentioned Gavin Sheets with a home run tonight for Charlotte. Here's Jose Ruiz making his 10th appearance. The Reds have one hit. Suarez takes a fastball for a strike. That was a Barnhart single in the 5th off Cease. That's it.
Only hit. 11 strikeouts, 3 walks. You mentioned the home run for Gavin Sheets. Matt Reynolds has gone deep as well. We saw him some in spring training for Charlotte tonight. And Blake Rutherford has his first home run on minor league opening day as well.
New battery for the Sox. Zach Collins is catching. One, two, low and away. I'm not being an alarmist here.
Uh-oh.
It's 8-0. It feels comfortable. It has been comfortable. But again, a reminder, this is a tiny ballpark. And this offense has been really good. It's not Coors Field, but it is one of those, you know, until you get that final out, you're just never quite comfortable. The 3-2 home is fouled away. I know that's how managers look at it, no matter what ballpark it is. They're never feeling like the game's in the bag. Till it literally is. Chop to Anderson out on the outfield grass. He got him.
Today's game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Since 1945, Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, and what could be, they're a bank that cares about your success in our communities. Discover neighborhood banking that feels good for lo these many years at emarquettebank.com.
One out. Here's Naquin.
We'll see if he's still watching.
Another ground ball, backhanded Madrigal.
I got to do this one too.
I'll
Withers,
do it.
what are you doing to me?
The MLB Ballpark app gives you the best experience at Guaranteed Rate Field. Buy and manage game tickets. Order your favorite food and beverages. Access exclusive content and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
I miss going to all the ballparks, and I hope we're traveling again soon. We are here to bring you baseball however we can bring it to you, and our technical people have done a marvelous job getting you baseball. But I would do anything for Skyline Chili tonight.
Yep, it's coming hopefully sooner than later.
That is a hot take, by the way, in the truck. I love Skyline Chili.
Not a huge fan. I get why people like it. They grew up with it. They love it. Chili is a very specific thing in terms of taste. Another hit for Barnhart. It's going to get to the wall. And he's got a double. He has their 2 hits tonight.
Well, he piped him a fastball, and you're up 8-0. You might as well pipe him a fastball and see if he can do something with it. But so this is what I miss about going to baseball stadiums. I was talking to you about the trip that my friends and I went on to see the Sox in Cincinnati. And it's amazing what becomes a running gag with your friends. But every once in a while, our group chat will, at that point, Skyline Chili was doing an ad campaign to the tune of My Girl. And it was, I got Skyline on a cloudy day. And my friends Adam, Jonathan, and Bill every once in a while will text the group chat about Sox stuff in game with references to I got Skyline on a cloudy day. So yes, the quirks of every ballpark. It's worth going to see all of them. You were talking about ticking off states. You got to go see all the ballparks.
I've been to all of them, the current ones, except for Arlington Globe Life Field, which opened last year. Swing and a miss by India. There you go. Now, wouldn't the hashtag guy, shouldn't he be on the other side?
Hashtag guy's totally lost. Get the hashtag a compass.
Wood right past him. And if you mentioned this already, I apologize, but also want to give a shout out to Jake Berger, who was in the lineup tonight for Charlotte, playing third base, batting third. He went 0 for 3 with a run scored, but you know, it's a big night for Berger, who's back in action. Great to see. Swing and a miss on a curveball.
So we get Berger and Chili, and we got a Chili burger.
It was on my mind. 8-0 White Sox late.
How do we have this? For things other than chili. And this is our opposition research on Cincinnati, and it's Joe Nuxhall. What a story from the war years in 1944, Len.
Yeah, he was 15 years old when he made his debut. And he went on to become a great broadcaster in Cincinnati, the old left-hander. And when he would end the broadcast, he would say, round in third and headed for home.
You knew Joe, right?
I did. Very nice man. He and Marty Brenneman were a great tandem. Loved being at the ballpark.
Could you imagine a 15-year-old playing nowadays? The Twitter sphere would explode. And he faced Stan Musial in that game.
Unbelievable. One strike on Tim Anderson. He's 2 out of 4. He's knocked in 3. The 8th inning is brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. Homer, a nice fastball. It's 0-2. If you care.
I do, Len.
Tucker
I really
Barnhart's double was the 100th of his career.
Did somebody just have their 800th hit for Cincinnati?
I believe it was Suarez.
We love round numbers here.
Anderson held.
They got their own lottery in the background there. We got our sponsor for the 8th inning. They got their own. It's a very excitable lottery. Oh.
Got him on a cutter. Strikes out his former teammate. When it comes to local news, Stephen Holt and Allison Rosati will take you closer to the story every night. The team at NBC5 News brings you in-depth stories with context and perspective. Catch Holt and Rosati weeknights at 10 on NBC5 News.
Tonight's a good night for the White Sox. There are 6 outs to get, but this was a much needed sort of relaxation for Sox fans. And hey, and a number of people have said this the last couple days, the playoff odds are not 0 because Luis Robert is out. It hurts your chances, but this is still, according to a lot of people, the favorite in the American League Central. Not just us watching them every night, but to a number of people, this is still a favorite in the Central.
Base hit for Madrigal, his second. And the timing is interesting because it's May 4th, and we don't talk trades usually until you get into at least June. But there's no question the White Sox front office will take a look and see who's out there, as well as internal options. Danny Mendick replaced Robert on the roster. He'll bat for Moncada here in the 8th inning. It's his 3rd stint already with the big league club. And he takes high for ball 1.
What do you think of Danny Mendick?
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a very useful player who has defensive versatility. Those numbers look great. Yeah, it's 16 at bats, 6 hits. And really hasn't played a lot at this level. This is only his 58th major league game, but watching him in spring training and just how he goes about his work, he looks like he's been here longer than he has.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Two 2-0 on him. A little low on the fastball.
I appreciate an umpire who calls it square even in a blowout. I know some people say, hey, let's go home, give him the strike. I appreciate the professionalism of an umpire who calls it square.
Totally. 3-1. Don't have an official attendance just yet, but
what is that? That's a Star Wars night deal, I think.
Yes, the May the 4th be with you. Right? In the dirt, he walked him.
You said it and not me.
I did.
And considering our pregame conversation, the odds makers just took a beating. Sox fans, we have a variety of unique private areas for groups of all sizes that are perfect for your next trip to the ballpark. Let our staff help plan your 2021 outing. For more information, visit whitesox.com/groups.
So 2 on with 1 away for Abreu. Go ahead homer in the second, sac fly in the fourth.
So, minor league opening night happens on May 4th. It's one of the biggest nights in minor league promotions because they really play up the Star Wars thing. May the 4th be with you. And I was in Buffalo with AAA Syracuse a couple years ago. Had a rain delay, and they had warned us it is a big day. And there are a lot of people who dress up big time. But during the rain delays, sometimes in the minors, you go downstairs for food. And Kevin Brown, who's now with the Orioles, and I go downstairs, and we're walking the concourse, and it was like we were in a lightsaber fight. We were pushing through Princess Leia and Yoda. I mean, it was an amazing display of dedication for people in line for popcorn and ice cream that looked like they came from a Star Wars set.
Wow. Ballpark packed?
Packed. Post-game pyrotechnics. Like, post-game, I want to say they had like a staged fight. Like they paid people who were professional lightsaber fighters to come and put on a show. Jammed. Like, get out right after the final out and forget your post-game show. Run to the car. Save yourself the 2 hours of traffic in Buffalo.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
That's what you missed in the minors, Len Casper. That's what you didn't get to experience in the minors.
So Buffalo and Sabres.
Oh, look at you.
Thought you might make the connection, but I had to.
I'm a little slower tonight. It was the coffee.
2 balls, 2 strikes. You wanted the decaf, and we didn't have any.
Yeah, clearly.
That is going to get in there. Coming around is Madrigal. He's going to score. Mendick to third. It is a 9-0 White Sox lead. So Abreu knocks in his third of the night. Here's Hamilton. Batting for the first time. Getting a nice hand from Sox fans and Reds fans alike.
Six years in Cincinnati. 690 games. Well respected in Cincinnati.
So the Billy Hamilton note that is just incredible is he's never led his league in stolen bases. However, swing and a miss. 2015, 2016, 2017. And this is his pregame ovation he got from the crowd here. He was leading the majors in stolen bases all 3 years when he suffered injuries in September and ended up finishing second all 3 times. So you don't see that bold ink on his baseball reference card. It's just because of an ill-timed injury late in the season. Oh, 2 struck him out swinging. We're out number 2.
I think they're just going to cheer for everything that happens to Billy Hamilton tonight.
A nasty pitch from Fulmer. Now they put strikeout cancer on the board, which is always a great thing. I do believe they have a pizza promotion in Cincinnati. Reds strike out a certain amount of opposing hitters. So sometimes you'll hear like a lot of cheering and you're thinking, well, that strikeout feels maybe more important than we know.
Like the Judd Bushler taco time sort of thing.
Yes.
With the Bulls.
Cutter strike on Vaughn. And that is the 11th strikeout by Reds pitching, and that rings true that it's 11 strikeouts. And free pizza in the greater Cincinnati area on Wednesday.
What do they have free in the worst Cincinnati area?
Touche.
I like Cincinnati a lot.
Great
Fun
baseball
city.
town.
Yeah.
Off the end of the bat, in the air for Naquin. Bray knocks in another. It's 9-zip Sox late.
We're going to crown a monthly winner of our Sox Math video contest, then crown a champion at the end of the year. Here is our first winner based on a Twitter poll from the NBC White Sox
What are you guys doing?
page.
Going for the Polish? Well, that's right. It's time for Sox Math already. Take it away, boys.
So look, grilling and doing a Sox Math question at the same time. Sir Thomas Sox is our first winner for April, and we'll have the tournament at the end of the year. Good stuff. Dylan Cease tonight, Len Casper.
Some more good stuff.
Awesome.
Yes. I'll give you an interesting note from stats here after Ruiz deals to Kyle Farmer, ball one. All right. Dylan Cease is the second pitcher in the modern era that dates to 1900 with 10 or more strikeouts, 0 or 1 hit allowed, and 3 or more hits at the plate. The other was Catfish Hunter with Oakland. This is pre-DH era, obviously. May 8, 1968. It's a pretty good night.
I know there have been home runs, but you talk about in the modern era, you can argue that this is in the DH era, I should say. This is the best hitting night for a White Sox pitcher in the DH era.
You would know better than I in terms of recent White Sox history. But yeah, no home run, but you'll take 3 for 3 with a double and a run. Every night, ball thumped, and it's caught by Vaughn. Let's go to the studio and get a preview on White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Subaru. Chuck, take it away.
What do I love? I love the sports fans. I think the fans are great. I think it's a really nice city of people. I like the people. And I like the chili. So sue me. Hey. Yeah. Hey, it's Lance Johnson, okay? Just say it. Hey, Grater's ice cream is part of that too.
Grater's is what I was going to add. That's can't miss. Butter pecan.
That's good.
Yeah.
Better than vanilla.
No. As good as. Blandino fouls.
That's your nickname too, Blandino, with your ice cream love.
Nothing White Sox. 8th inning.
Nice pivot. That's what you get when there are 2 play-by-play announcers.
That's right.
Pivot
Just
with the
move
best
on
of.
and give the score again. So what is your ice cream or malt or shake flavor?
Grater's has a s'mores flavor. top notch. There's like a raspberry chip they have going on too. I'm just busier when it comes to ice cream. You like the flatter flavors, and I appreciate that.
I'll do almond gelato.
Wow, careful. Don't get too exotic.
Salt, sea salt caramel.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's 2 ingredients. That's new.
Yeah. A simple man, Benetti. I just noticed each team has a player wearing a single 0. Blandino and Hamilton. Ruiz strikes out Blandino. There's another 9-0. Caught up, presented by Bob Lacurcio Auto Group. Had a lot of good stuff tonight. Jose Abreu with his 6th of the year. No doubt about it. In the second, that gave the Sox the early lead. Tim Anderson with a couple of RBI hits, knocked in 2 in that second inning. And then later drove in Andrew Vaughn. John Moncada, RBI single. Got 2 hits tonight before he left. And then Dylan Cease. 1 hit allowed, tying his career high with 11 strikeouts. That was the mound work, and then at the bat, 3 for 3. Single, double, single, and a run. And you are caught up. And for the 9th, here's Jason.
Len, thank you so much. 9-0 Sox. Position player alert. Alex Blandino, who's done it before, throws a changeup for ball 1. Blandino out of Stanford has thrown in 2 games in his major league career. 1 earlier this year to get an out. 1 time last year. 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. His ERA of 0 is perilously on the line tonight against the hot-hitting White Sox. 9th inning brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Zach Collins for Yasmani Grandal. Zach in for Yasmani a couple of innings ago when Ruiz entered. It's a strike on a changeup. 2-2. So we have Dylan Cease going 3 for 3 at the plate and 6 scoreless. Then Blandino comes in late in the game, goes position player, then to pitcher. And that is slightly outside. Tried a curveball.
This is becoming more common. Teams just don't want to use up bullpen in blowout situations, which you can understand. And the irony is bullpens are bigger than ever before.
Ball 4 to Collins.
Follow our Sox insider Vinny Duber at NBCSportsChicago.com. Presented by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com. You want to do it?
Because.
Go ahead.
Come on.
You start, I'll follow.
Nationwide is on your side. Oh, he harmonized because of Sonic 45 and whatnot.
That'll be 2.
Who's doing the play-by-play here?
Oh, I forgot.
You got into music mode.
I did. I owe you
and
one.
you went, and I love it.
I owe you one.
No, that's the smoothness of a booth with 2 play-by-play announcers. You just grooved right into it. You went Mike Love first, and then you called a double play. And now Jose Ruiz is going to hit against Alex Blandino.
My head is exploding right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, in a good way.
Have a little vanilla ice cream. That'll do it a lot better. Strike 1. Good night for the White Sox. Big innings in the 3rd. The 2nd with 3 runs. The 4th with 3 runs as well. As Ruiz got a little hitterish there.
I was starting to get excited about a 3-inning save alert. Alas, Alex McRae is up in the bullpen. Nothing against Alex, but kind of hoping Jose might finish this game.
Well, Alex McRae has been around a while and we've not seen him. So it would be good to see Alex get his opportunity, as a fan's got a souvenir late in this ball game. Oh, and 2 Blandino to Ruiz. Jose might be saying no. This is why you hedge your bet. He was booking it down the line. Well, for Dylan tonight, this was the story of the Hurricane, and he was wearing number 84. Sox fans, the Chicago Sports Depot is back for the season. Get the latest team gear to rep all season long, and be sure to follow the @White Sox store on Instagram for series sales and more. For store hours and information, visit whitesox.com/depot.
This is Tyler Stevenson. He came in to play first base in the top of the ninth. Backup catcher.
And our first look at Alex McRae on the mound for the White Sox this year after 3 innings in a cameo last year. 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts after a couple seasons up and down with the Pirates from AAA Indianapolis.
How much does it cost? His cameo.
Oh. What's yours?
Don't ask.
Okay, I won't. No follow-ups, please. One ball, 1 strike on Stevenson. Dylan Cease tonight, Len. 6 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. 3 for 3 at the plate. And for a guy who has argued with his own command at points, to see him that in control on the mound and at the plate feels like a breakout night that started last time against the Tigers. But for people who said he did it against Detroit, what then? This is a Cincinnati offense that has been at hyperspeed for most of this year.
You know, really impressive tonight. He was impressive his last time out. I don't care who he's facing. He's got his ERA now down on the season to 2.37. Rodon's got an 0.72.
Outside ball 4. It's a walk for Stevenson.
Lynn, a 182. Pretty impressive. Hey, Sox fans, with Xfinity Mobile, you can save hundreds on the most reliable network nationwide. Your wireless, your rules only with Xfinity Mobile.
Well, the Sox ended the month of April with a 3.11 ERA. Best since 2005 for starting pitchers, what they ended up with at the end of the month of April. Best for the starting rotation since 2005. And again, we didn't think this was going to be a pitching driven team in spring training. The lineup was cannon fire 1 through 9, but you end up with some less powerful spots in the lineup than you expected, and you need more from other people.
What's really interesting is when you go 1 through 5 with the rotation, the top 2 guys have the highest ERA. So you would expect Keuchel and Lucas to be better. Lucas has lost his last 3 starts. Keuchel will pitch tomorrow with a 4.65 going in. But pitching has been the strength, and look, you have to say offense too when you're leading the American League in runs. That's a strength.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened as the Sox, I think, expected.
Right.
I mean, you look at the numbers from last year and you expect one of the top teams in slugging percentage in baseball. And the Sox have done it with substantially more patience than we saw in the entire last decade.
High batting average, high on base. 13 hits tonight.
That's foul, just foul, wide of third. Dallas Keuchel last year in Cincinnati was coming off an injury. He had skipped a start. It was 13 days between starts. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and no runs allowed. So creating ground balls, it's an early start tomorrow, but we'll get you ready for the game and tell you that creating ground balls early would be the headline news for Dallas Keuchel a couple innings in if you're watching over brunch. As there's strike 3, McRae's first strikeout in 2021.
Well, ground ball away from ending this one. And Suarez likes to try to hit the ball over the fence.
We got to find out tomorrow what that song is that he's walking up to. Abreu, foul territory, and he makes the catch. Use the railing, please. 2 down.
Oh man, that made me nervous. And by the way, this is a rule that's been in play forever. Stevenson gets second base.
Yep.
So, okay, Abreu ends up out of play. Now, this shouldn't matter in a 9-0 game. However, if there had been a runner at third and less than 2 outs, it would have scored a run.
Yes.
I've seen that happen maybe 1 or 2 times.
We saw it with Jose last year, sort of relaxing into the net in Pittsburgh, and it was properly called to the letter of the rule. You can dispute the rule all you want, but when the player ends up out of play like that, and the net in that case is out of play for the use of the player, you end up granting the base. Staircase the same.
I often think of end of a game, bottom of the inning, tie game, bases loaded, 1 out. You know, fielders have to at least contemplate, do I attempt to make a catch that could take me out of play? That would end the game.
That is a great point.
The game could end like that.
2 strikes.
Could you imagine how Twitter would handle Game 7 of the World Series ending like that?
Well,
with that rule,
this free sight of wonderment would probably detonate itself to the betterment of society at most points. 2 strikes. Shutout in the balance. Alex McRae, Wisconsin native, throws a changeup, and it's 1-2. Yeah, tomorrow, you saw we're on the air early. Bring the waffle maker. 11:35, first pitch from Cincinnati.
You looked at me when you said that.
I did. That was a request, kindly. 1-2. On the ground, Tim Anderson. The Sox have shut out mighty Cincinnati's bats. And 9-0 the final score on Dylan Cease night at Great American Ballpark.
Just what the doctor ordered after the bad news yesterday. Great offense, great pitching, defense no problem. And the White Sox go for the 2-game sweep tomorrow. And who knows, they could end up in a first-place tie, depending on how things go in Kansas City. And our upcoming schedule is presented by Volkswagen. And yes, first pitch tomorrow will be in the AM. And it'll be Dallas Keuchel against Sonny Gray. Should be fun.
So get your rest. It's been fun.
It's been great. We'll do it again tomorrow, Jason.
Sounds great. So for our producer, Chris Withers, our director, Andrew Blaustein, our associate producer, Sean Meehan, our stage manager, Joe Grube, our entire wonderful crew, thank you all for joining us. He's Len. I'm Jason. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For now, Chuck, Frank, Ozzie and the new center fielder.